I do want to talk about the state of gaming just a little bit more. Because the way I see it, the fact that I have to pay $70 for a game is fine. It's inflation, things go up. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
why not? But the fact that I'm paying $70 for games that aren't even finished, compared to back then when games products were actually finished, I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people need to understand that we are not these companies' friends. We are not buddies. We are consumers. And our standards need to be at a reasonable level. Not so high that it supersedes the price, but at a reasonable level to where when we're spending $70 on an optional entertainment product, that we need to get our money's worth. And I'm not talking about in time spent, but in the quality of said time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people miss that point. A lot of people just blindly follow a company because it's done good in the past, and they think, oh, if we support it, eventually they'll get back to how they were. That's not how it works. If you support shit like Skull and Bones, then they will continue to make shit like Skull and Bones because they think they're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out there and support things like Suicide Squad, the Justice League, then they will continue to make shit like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. So I just want to point that out for people who don't understand that you are a consumer, you are not their buddies. If you do not like a game that they are coming out with, then you should not buy that. And this goes double for sports fans. When a Madden NFL comes out, or an NBA comes out, or FIFA comes out, and there's such a lack of improvement that it barely justifies the $70 price tag, then don't buy it. People always like, oh, but it's the only basketball, football, whatever game in the market. It's like, yeah, but it's the same fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys want more, then you need to vote with your dollars. I think that's a very lukewarm take, but some people would disagree with me on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple thing where if you don't support this product, then the company will be forced to pivot. And I've heard arguments where it's like, oh, but you should support the company anyway because of the workers and the people that work there. You don't want them to starve and to not be able to feed their families. It's like, yeah, that's fair. The thing is that I'm not rich. I have myself to provide for. You have your family to provide for, that kind of thing. We have things that we need to save our money for. So eventually, when we go out of our way to buy this piece of entertainment, we want it to be worth it. And if you are wasting my time, if you're wasting our time, why should we subsidize that? That's it. At the end of the day, you're a company. You're not a charity. If I don't like what you're making, I'm not going to pay for it. And not only will I not pay for it, I will get on this microphone and I will speak out against it. Because I want positive change.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I like how convenient the Xbox Game Pass is. I really do. I think that's a good option for people who can't afford full price games. Absolutely. What I don't like is that over time, this will substitute ownership. And ownership won't be existent. You're going to have to go through backrooms channels in order to own the DRM of a game. Whether it takes 10, 20, 30 years, irrelevant. We're heading towards that direction. And I hate that. I hate that I pay $70 up front for the opportunity to play a game rather than actually physically owning that game. I think that's an extremely dumb notion. It could be convenient, sure. Just like monthly movie subscriptions and all that. And it's like, yeah, I agree. It's convenient. But at the end of the day, it should be one or the other. It can't just, it should be, you should be able to have both. It shouldn't just be, ease, como se dice, ease and convenience and no ownership. And it shouldn't be just ownership and no ease and convenience. It should be both avenues should be available. And the way that society is heading right now, well, rather the industry, the way the industry is heading right now is you'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Which is what Ubisoft has been pining for a long time now. People they shouldn't get used to owning their games. That's ridiculous. I paid you all this cash and I don't own the game? Then what's the point of my purchase?
Yeah. It's kind of like drives home like why so many companies are also pivoting to live service, because live service is the closest thing to like a subscription to play a game,
Yeah.
because they're just giving out quote unquote free content, but you have to pay for like a battle pass or any new content coming out for what should be a free to play game. But a lot of these live service games are not even free to play. They're full price $70 games that you then have to wait for more content for and pay more money for said content.
Right. Which earns them more money in return. But what makes them more money is at the detriment of the player. That's it. At the end of the day, I want completed, fun experiences from front to back, like a Spider-Man, like a God of War, like a Last of Us, like a GTA, like a Red Dead Redemption. Those games are legendary and will stand the test of time, and those are the games that I'm willing to pay full price retail for. In fact, I'm willing to buy collector's editions of those games, like Last of Us 2. I bought a special edition where it gave me a steelbook and all that because I couldn't afford the model. But if I could, I would have bought the $150 collector's editions. You know why? Because I know the game is finished. I know the game has put a lot of effort and care into the narrative, and I understand that this is a finished product. This is not a platform. This is a finished product with people who are passionate about their craft. And that's enough for me. Even if the game isn't perfect. When I see stuff like that, I think, okay, not all hope is lost. But eventually, companies like that will come under new ownership, new management, and eventually will turn to the dark side. You know? And Rocksteady is a perfect example of that. Great solo narrative games like the Arkham series. And then eventually coming into these soulless cash grab platforms instead of finished games. I'm not down with that. And I don't think anyone should be. I think that we should definitely be down with the convenience thing, a Game Pass. Of course, have that. But let's have it both ways. And unfortunately, the way the industry is heading, I'm going to say one more time, is that it's going to be ease and convenience and you'll own nothing. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
The fact that I can pay all this money and then you just take it away from me whenever. Oh, well, the licenses ran out. Bye. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Do I think the industry is failing? No, I think the industry's booming right now. What I'm saying is that I don't like the direction it's heading.
Yeah.
And that's my take. I don't think I have any more thoughts on that. Maybe I will when I start reading the comments. And if that's the case, I'll make another video on this. But I think that's all I have to say about that. How about you?
Yeah, and for anyone wanting to like leave their opinion, you know, maybe disagreeing or siding with with the companies of the industry, keep in mind that when we as consumers criticize something, it should be that we criticize it because we want something better or we want a more positive outcome for everybody involved.
We love it.
I don't like when, you know, if you just say something online and someone immediately attacks you for it. It's like, I'm not trying to be negative just to be negative. I just want better for everybody.
I'm not trying
I want better for me.
I'm not trying to impede on your good times. I'm not trying to cancel your fun out. I'm not clashing with your opinion. I'm not trying to block your headway. I'm simply speaking my mind so we can head towards a better future for everyone. That's it. Continue. I'm sorry, I had to block you.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I think that was basically it.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I'm not liking the direction that things are heading. I'm really not. And unfortunately, this channel isn't big enough to where we can make any kind of big change. But there are changes. There are channels like an Angry Joe or basically these big critique channels that are heading in the right direction and are trying to steer it in the right direction. But unfortunately, we're the minority. You know, the majority of fans don't watch nor care. They just buy up anything, and that means the people like us who love it, that kind of make it a part of our lives, we're left in the dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know a shit ton of people that buy Call of Duty every year just because it's Call of Duty.
It's
Like
obligation.
they play it every year, so it's like, yeah, it's a new one, might as well.
And that's ridiculous. It's dumb. I don't think you should have any kind of blind loyalty to any company. I love Naughty Dog, but I tell you something right now, I'm not out here just blindly following everything. Last of Us 2, love that game, but has issues. Last of Us 1, love that game, damn near perfect. Damn near. Has some issues. Wish the gameplay was more fleshed out. I wish there was more, como se dice, more, what's the word? More freedom in the levels, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, these are great titles that deserve your cash because of how well crafted they are. But nowadays, we're getting platforms. We're getting starting points to where, okay, you give us this amount of money to begin with, and then over time you give us more money because it makes us more money in the long term, and you get to spend more time on our game, except we're not having fun, dude. So, yeah, that's all I have for that. I don't like the way that the industry is steering. I don't think that the industry is dying. Absolutely not. It's booming. I just don't like the direction it's heading. That's it.
Yeah. A side note, I think your criticisms with The Last of Us Part 1 are addressed with the remake for PS5.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to play that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just quick side note.
There you go.
Because it's basically just Part 2, but with the story of the first game.
Right. I feel like Part 2 addressed a lot of the criticisms of the first game. So if you're telling me they did that with the remake, then good. You see?
Yeah, that's pretty. It's literally the same graphics engine too. Like if you look at like Joel in like the flashbacks in Part 2, and then the Joel in the remake for PS, it's the same character model. They literally didn't change anything. It's just Part 2's gameplay and graphics engine with Part 1's story.
All right. Yeah. Well, I need to play it then. It's on PC, so eventually.
I don't know if I would get it on PC.
Yeah, I hear it was broken at launch.
I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it's very broken. I don't know if it's been fixed. Hopefully,
it has. That's what people say. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure people have said that it's fixed. So
yeah, I would still be cautious.
Well, at first 2 hours, if I'm noticing anything, I get a refund. That's it. That's it.
True.
Steam. That's another thing. People, people are like, oh, how can you have that viewpoint, but you can also own games on Steam? Because Steam has built a certain rapport that I don't think that they'll do something like that, where they're pulling games out of your library. They'll pull games off the store, but they'll remain in your library. You'll still own them. And I don't see myself ever getting banned off of Steam, because I'm, not a fucking heathen. So, I don't have a problem with that, mainly because of the sales. The sales are ridiculous over on Steam.
Yeah.
It's unlike anything else. And so I'm willing to take that very small, minute risk. Unlike a Microsoft. When I'm buying games under a Microsoft, I've seen them take away content before. It's ridiculous. And there's so many games that aren't backwards compatible that I enjoyed on the 360 that I can't play on next-gen consoles. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'd rather just do an emulator. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Como se dice? I want the industry to succeed. I love gaming. I want it to prosper and live longer than I do. I just don't like the way that it's going, because I still want to be able to own my games. And I hope and I pray that we'll still be able to do that in 30 years. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I have.